welcome to another episode of the JoeyH podcast. Today we got a very special guest with us, defensive lineman at Brown University, Michael Renoit. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me tonight.
All right. Now I like to kind of start from the beginning. So how did you get into football?
Honestly, I used to be a basketball player. Well, I used to play baseball and basketball when I was in middle school. My pops wanted me, to take the baseball route, and I was honestly really good at it. But as soon as I got deep into the sport, it just became very political. Same thing with basketball, and then I've always wanted to go to St. Thomas, so I told myself I might as well start playing football, so I started playing eighth grade. I wanted to play when I was a little bit younger, like elementary days, but my parents wouldn't let me because of how violent they thought the game was. So, I kind of started playing ball when I was in eighth grade and just started my route from there.
Okay. Now, you mentioned St. Thomas, and I would like to ask you, what was it like playing for a storied high school football program like St. Thomas?
Honestly, overall, it was great. The good team bonding, just the atmosphere, the teachers, staff, players, coaches, just everything about, the STA atmosphere was great overall. All good vibes, nothing really bad. Maybe there's some ups and downs. That's just how life is. But overall, it was really good. It was really good. Lots of hard coaching, worried about, being disciplined, because once you're a disciplined being, it can take you far in life. So overall, it was really good, man. Nothing really bad.
Nice. Now, what led to your decision to attend Brown University?
Honestly, I still do it till this day. I talk to God every night, just to guide me to, a place or to a school that'll help me to succeed academically and athletically. I wasn't really like, oh, I want to go to this school, I want to go to that. I never really had a dream school. Maybe I had a school that I liked, a school that I, admired, but I never really had like a dream school. So I honestly just spoke to God and just asked him to lead me, towards that route. And then when the offer came up, I was looking at it, I was like, whoa, okay, things are getting real. I'm not gonna lie, at first I started, pushing back a little bit, because we all know how sometimes when you get offers, they're not official. So I started, pushing back. I wasn't really getting my hopes up too much, waiting to see if I could like get any other schools, but no schools were really, trying to get me, honestly. So I spoke to Coach Harriet and I asked him to give me some advice, because obviously I wanted to go to a great school, but when it comes to going to a school like Brown, it's not that much easier of a process, because you got to understand what type of environment you're getting into. So I had to understand that first, and then I spoke to God. And then I spoke to my coach for some advice and spoke to my family. And there you go. I'm at Brown University currently.
Yeah, one thing I've learned, and I've said this in multiple videos, like one thing I've learned about Coach Harriet, just being around him, is that he really like puts his all into his family, his faith, and his job, and like that's one thing I've learned with Coach Harriet, is that, whatever his relationship is with you, he's going to do his very best to, be all in with you, and that's why, like, yeah, Coach Harriet is, he's been an amazing figure for so many players, countless,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very glad that, he was able to give you advice on that topic. Now, let me ask you this. What motivates you?
Mother and father and brother are my motivation, because without them, I wouldn't be here in my life. And honestly, I do everything with them. Well, not with my mother and father, because they're working most of the time, but my brother mainly. Like if I were to choose out of those three, I do it for my mother and father because I want to give back. But I also mainly do it for my brother. Like my brother's honestly at the same level with my brother. No, the same level with my mother and father, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously I want to give back to my parents because they've done so much for me. But then when it comes to my brother, like he's just like my best friend. Like everything we do is just like together, and it's like every time I look at him, it's like, yeah, I want to give back to my fam, my brother, father, cousins, but I'm really doing it for my brother because it's like I love him, and it's just like without him, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do right now because every step that I took in life, he was right there with me, and every step that he's taking right now, I'm right there with him. So I'm gonna go with my mother, father, and brother, but mainly, obviously, I want to give back to my mother and father, but I'm gonna put my brother at the same sector with my mother and father, if that makes sense.
That's awesome, man. Your brother's at STA, correct?
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember him being there. He was like a freshman when we were seniors. So
yeah.
yeah, I hope he's doing well too. And now just to ask you, like, when at the end of it all, like, at the end of this, when you're done, playing sports, like, or yeah, like when you're done playing sports, how do you want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered? I want to be remembered in a way of fighting against the forces of evil. I want to be able to spread positivity and just real build back civilizations for upcoming generations because we all know that the world right now is not at its best peak, but as a community, as a country, as a whole globe, we could really turn it around. Really, we really could turn this around. Like as a whole race, we could really turn it around. And I just want to be able to, join in on the revolution of fighting against the forces of evil. So I just want to be remembered as a person that fights for the truth.
I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. That's an amazing answer, man. Now, just and now I asked this to Brandon when I interviewed him, but
Mhm.
I I was wondering, because you and him, you're both defensive line.
Yeah.
Um, who do you model your game after?
Oh, easy. I'm gonna go with. Okay, I have two players. I'm gonna go with Jason Taylor. And I'm gonna go with Ray Lewis. I grew up watching what's it called? Ray Lewis. Just seeing him, just unleashing his will against players. That literally like motivated me to honestly become a defensive player. Because I remember I used to play tight end and receiver when I came in as a freshman, and then one night I was on my bed. I started watching Ray Lewis highlights out of nowhere. Next thing you know, next day at practice, I told coach, put me at linebacker. And then, I started playing linebacker. I had the grasp of the position. I wasn't the greatest, but I was able to hold on my own and do things that certain players couldn't do. And then next thing you know, Coach Taylor, Jason Taylor, came into my life and invited me to join his positional group, and it ended up putting me as a hybrid linebacker. And the one thing that Coach Taylor always brought onto the field was just energy, 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 and effort. No matter what you do, it's just like you just got to go hard, like energy and effort. And then when I watched Coach Taylor's highlights and not Coach Lewis, but Ray Lewis highlights. When I watched both of their highlights, the similarities in between those highlights were just energy, effort, and just being relentless and
Yeah.
just going hard. And that's really who I have my game behind as just going hard, full effort. Obviously, in my position, you got to have a little bit of finesse, but at the end of the day, it's about you were going against the man in front of you. So if you're going against the man in front of you, you got to understand that he may win some reps, but at the same time, as a player and as a being, you got to know that no matter what happens, you will win this battle. You will win this competition. So just putting full effort and full energy into what you're doing, just knowing that the gas tank will run out if you just keep on going.
All right, yeah, and like those two players, those are polarizing figures, and as in today's game, I I mean, yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, Jason Taylor was a coach at STA. Now he coaches at the University of Miami, and actually today his son Isaiah just announced that he's transferring to the University of Miami. So that's awesome. And also, yeah, I grew up watching Ray Lewis, and one thing I remember with him was his final year with the Ravens, and they went to the Super Bowl. They had that power outage, but one thing I just noticed with him is like how you know, like Coach Harry, he puts his all into everything he does, and he is just, his like his mental and his focus on the game, was something like I've never seen before. I don't think anyone's ever seen. So now my last question for you, Michael, is what can we expect from you in the future?
Greatness and success. That's all I can say.
All right, hey, I like it. I like
Yeah.
it, man. Michael Renoit, I really appreciate you coming on here, and have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for having me, Joey. Thank you.